Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I want to review these Etline's miniature fixed blades. These are custom-made knives from Finland and very, very affordable. Right off the bat, I'll tell you what kind of sold me on these is the fact that you get a very cool custom knife, although, be it very small, but you get real Damascus. These are 256 layer non-stainless Damascus. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And you get, exotic materials. Two of these have ram's horn, and one has a smooth, polished camel bone for handles, scales. You get nice little sheaths, which we'll talk about as well in the review. But all for about 40 bucks. They have three major sections of knives. They have 2-inch, 3-inch, and then 4-inch. All right, that's going to be the overall length on these. The ones I have, this is 4.5 inches, and these two come in at exactly 3.9 inches. So even though I got them in the 4-inch section, they're right there. They're about 4 inches. Almost across the board, prices range anywhere from like 38 bucks to 41 for most of them. If you get a tiny 2-inch one, I think I've seen as low as 30 bucks, and there might be one slightly larger one that's still on the website for like 50 or something. But expect to pay about 40 bucks. And even though they're located in Finland, they only charge $4.99 for shipping if you order one knife. If you order more than one knife, you will have free shipping worldwide. They sent this to me international registered mail. I got it in a very timely fashion. I think it was within, I want to say 7 business days. So obviously you don't count the weekends. But from Finland to the U.S. and Pennsylvania here, that was fantastic. I was very pleased with the shipping time. So you're getting a lot of knife for the money. Now there's gonna be two different reasons why someone gets this. The first reason, because they think it's cool and they just want one for like their collection or display. That's cool. To fondle, play with, open letters, fine. The other purpose you may want one of these for is to actually use all the time. I can tell you that I had carried and used this one. I did not carry it in the sheath. Well, I put it in the sheath, but I put it in my pocket. I'm not completely fond with the sheath just because they're pink and black. I don't know why they specifically did pink and black. Kind of unique. Yes, I feel very strong in my masculinity. I just chose not to carry, a pink sheath exposed. So anyway, I did carry this in the sheath, and I put the whole thing in my pocket as opposed to using the belt loop. Two of these sheaths came with belt loops. The larger knife came with a necklace, which I'll show you that design as well. All right, but they are functional at home. I did try it on, and around the house I wore it for a day. But out in public and stuff like that, I just put the whole thing in my pocket. I can tell you the little form factor here was very nice in the pocket. I can also tell you don't be dissuaded from the pink leather, because these sheaths, let me talk about the sheaths real quick first before I get into the knives. These sheaths are very, very nice. It's very nice, supple leather. There's a few layers on here. You can see that there's pink layers on both sides, as well as a black kind of paint that shows through. And also, you'll notice there's a snakeskin pattern. It's not snakeskin, obviously. It's stamped into the leather. But you can very easily get some spray paint and just do a light coating to paint this whatever color you wanted. And you'd have a very, very functional, soft, supple leather sheath. So, don't be dissuaded from the pink. And in fact, that's what I'm going to do. I want to keep these as is for the review purposes to show you how you get them. But I will hit this with just a little bit of, some spray paint just to give it, a different color. So, of course, you have the option of doing that. No, not everyone wants to get a brand new knife and start altering things, with paint and everything else. But I'm just throwing it out there. It's not garbage at all. It's actually really, really nice. It's just pink may not be preferred by a lot of people. I could think Krista Blade would love this, pink and black. I know it's her color combo she likes. But not everyone's going to be into that. So that's, slight downside. It's specific to this, although at the same time, it's kind of unique. I don't know any other company that does anything like this. All right, not just the sheath design overall, doing the fake snakeskin, but a black and pink kind of, I don't know if you consider that camo or not. It's kind of cool. If they did red and black or yellow and black or something, I'd be even more for it. Anyway, onto the knives. That's what's important. So anyway, I did actually carry this one for probably 3 or 4 weeks and used it a lot. And actually, outside of my EDC, my normal use, I did use it regularly around the house to see how this edge would hold up. I used this until it actually dulled out. One thing I could tell you is that I do like this Damascus. It is genuine Damascus. It's going to be 256 layer, and it is a non-stainless, which means it's a carbon steel Damascus. There are some benefits to this. It won't be as brittle, not to say stainless Damascuses are brittle in general, but there is some kind of a benefit. I've used a couple different Damascus blades before for actual use. Most people like it for decorative purposes, you know, or for collecting type purposes. They like knives with Damascus on there, but you can actually use them. I get that question often, you know, can you use a Damascus blade? Absolutely. But there certainly is a difference between cheap Damascus and expensive Damascus, and you're going to get what you pay for in both respects. But in this case, it's semi-cheap, but because they don't use stainless, they only use carbon steels in here, you do get more flexibility. Rockwell hardness is between 56 and 58 on this. I did use it very hard, and I did get a little bit of a roll in my edge, but it did not chip, which was nice. That might have been due to the fact that there's no stainless in here. I can't completely, you know, claim that's why it didn't chip out, but it rolled as opposed to chipped, which is very nice. And I was able to easily fix it. It was very easy to sharpen. So these are usable knives, and they do come sharp. However, the biggest downside to these, by design, they're mimicking a full-size fixed blade in a tiny package, you know, anywhere from 2 to 4 inches overall. So what you're going to get is a very, very wide grind. You see that the stock here, and actually I pulled out the calipers. This is why I got these, because for times like this, I don't have specific specs on this. So we're going to actually use the calipers here to give that information to you. And it'll better provide my point that I'm trying to get to. So let's do that right now. Let's use this one, since this is one I used. The stock here is 0.175 inches, okay? And the grind, you can see, is roughly, get this right there, about 0.347 inches, all right? So you have a fat stock and a very short blade. So when you're grinding this out, it ends up giving you basically a wedge. I mean, you can see how fat that is. It's kind of like a miniature axe. So it's gonna basically, even though it's super sharp right now, it won't easily slice through paper because you have such an extreme wedge. Whereas most of us are using knives with a very thin edge. All right, thin edge, fat wedge. So as far as performance, they do cut things, but keep in mind, even though you get them nice and sharp, you're not going to do a lot of fine cutting with it. And you're also going to get this wedge effect where you're going to feel, even though it's super sharp, you're going to feel like you're using a little bit more force because you're trying to split that material, you know, open faster with a wider blade. If that makes any sense to you. I don't have a way I can really illustrate this, but let's say you're cutting through cardboard. You have a thin knife, so you have less resistance. Your edge is super thin. That's what's going to allow the edge to cut through the material, and it's going to, you know, basically spread into 2 pieces. Once you cut it, obviously it's splitting. If you have a fat blade like this, it's going to be a lot harder because you have much more resistance into your cut, even though you do have a sharp blade. So all that being said, what that comes down to is these get nice and sharp and they're easy to maintain, but I do find that I need to use more pressure than normal knives because they have such a fat grind and because they're so small. So keep that in mind, but they are very usable knives. As far as design, they have a bunch of different designs on the website. No two are exactly alike. Obviously, they're all going to be very individual. They are, you know, one-off custom knives, even though you have similar designs. There will be slight differences. Obviously, the Damascus pattern will never be exactly the same. How big the handle scales are, how big they are overall could be slightly different. As far as materials, the natural materials that they have here, they're very cool. I like things. I mean, camel bone is a unique material to use for a knife. I like it. This one's polished smooth, which is very cool. These two are ram's horn, so it has kind of a rough, even though it's polished overall, it has divots and stuff like that, the natural cracks and spaces in the material, all right, from when they get it. Fit and finish on these are just okay. They're not fantastic. To give you an example, if you look up here at the pin, this first pin is beautiful. It's absolutely perfect. All right, whereas the second and third pin, they're a little bit pinched during the hammering process, wherever they use to press fit these in. You can see where the lanyard hole is cut on here, the bone chipped out just a little bit. All right, so fit and finish is not totally dead on. The handle scales to the blade itself are okay. One of them has a little bit of a gap. I can find it here. You can see this one has a little bit of a gap in between this scale and the stock. I don't know if I can, there we go, you can see that. Okay, so fit and finish is not 100% on these. They're custom done. I can imagine what it would look like to actually make these. They're very, very cool though, and for the price, I really do think they're worth it if you compare it overall to the market and what custom knives get. Yes, they're tiny, but you're talking 30, 40 bucks. It's really not a bad shake at all. Very, very interesting. As far as comfort and feel, I like this one the most. That's why I picked it for use, just because it's a general shape. Although I can tell you what performed even better than this one was this one. And you wouldn't think so because of this, you know, unique design. It's kind of an extreme kukri type shape overall. But I found if I put my pointer finger over here and my middle finger in the middle, and I grip down on this, because this has a little more belly than that one, this actually does slice slightly better than that one. And overall, it's also slightly thinner, the stock. So something that's extreme like this doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be useless. You can actually use this, and I did use this. I can tell you, generally speaking, because they're tiny, instead of grabbing it like a normal knife, because in this particular design, the grind comes all the way down, or excuse me, our edge comes all the way down to the very edge of the stock. So when you grip this really tight, it does poke in the finger, which is uncomfortable. I haven't gotten cut by it, but it is very uncomfortable. So when using this knife, generally I'll grab it and I'll do kind of a pinch grip, all right? Or I'll put the finger up like this and I'll slice your boxes or whatever I have to do. All right, this one I wanted because it's really cool. It's a dagger style. Obviously this one is sharpened on both edges. This one is even more so it has even more resistance, I should say, because of the fact that now we have a double edge on such a short, stubby blade. All right, so it makes for a very thick, abrupt slope. Okay, our grind is not, all right, let's say here's the table, right? Our steel is very thick. Okay, so our grind looks like this from a side view. Let's say the knife is pointing at me like this. This is the view I'm giving you. Okay, this edge, how it's cut. Normal knife, here's what it looks like. It's very thin, right? These, very thick and abrupt. That's why it's hard to push material through here, because it has to spread out so fast. And it kind of wedges in as opposed to slicing. So you get that effect with this one even more so because it's double-edged. But comes to a very, very acute point. Very easy for penetration. Also very comfortable. This is ambidextrous, obviously, whereas these are, you know, they're not, well, I guess they're all ambidextrous. You could use your left or right hand. What I meant to say is this one is symmetrical and these are asymmetrical, meaning it doesn't matter which side you grip on this dagger style, they both feel exactly the same, as opposed to this is obviously going to be specific to one side. You can't comfortably hold it. And, you know, I guess you can do this, but it's not comfortable. And same with this one. You could carry or use it like this, but it's not as comfortable as like this. Overall, the Damascus is beautiful. It's very nice. I've always been appreciative of nice Damascus, and although this is on the cheaper side of things, it's much better than any kind of Pakistan style Damascus you're going to get in your $10 fixed blades from the flea market. What I really, really like about these knives is just that they're unique. I've never seen this before. I've seen miniatures before, but I've never seen this much quality in a miniature for the price tag. I've seen stuff similar to this for 70, 80 bucks, you know, or more in some cases. Almost every single one, actually I believe it's every single model, does have file work on the spine. Okay, I'll give you a shot of all three here. So you can see this. So they all have the file work, which is a very nice touch. It's kind of classy. It's all going to be the exact same style as you can see, but I do know it's hand done. So very cool. As I mentioned before, this most of the sheaths are going to be like this, belt clip style, or belt loop style rather, so you can feed your belt through there. This one, because it was larger, I think this is the largest one they had in their site, that's why I got it. Also, it's a dagger style, 4.5 inches. This one came with a, did not come with a loop on the back, but the back of the sheath is extended a little bit, and there's two holes, and there's a leather thong through here, so we have a necklace. These beads are plastic, and they're just painted to be metal, so they're real cheap beads. I don't particularly like the style or anything, but I left them on here for, you know, for the review purposes. I will take this off. The leather is very supple though and nice, so I'll probably keep this with the sheath. And I'll just go ahead and I'll paint these, and I'll show you in the future after I do so what they look like. But I was very happy with the quality of sheath you get with this, and the quality of knives overall. I think they're really, really nice for the money. So this is a good example of some custom knives from Finland. Definitely something unique. I think it's worth checking out. Again, the name is Etline's. All the information is on the website. Something interesting to mention too, even though I didn't do it, they do make custom knives to your specifications. If you wanted, let's say you like one of these, but you wanted, I don't know, camel bone on this design. Or let's say you wanted this knife, but you wanted a 9-inch version of it, right? You can contact them and send them your design. And if you want to have one of their knives custom made to your specifications, hand material, design, the whole kit and caboodle, you can do so. What'll happen is within like 5 days or so, you'll get an email back with a quote, a price quote for what it's going to cost to make your exact knife. Once you do so, if you want to go ahead and order the knife, you have to give them 50% down. So let's say, I don't know, let's say you like this design, but you don't want a tiny knife. Maybe you want to get a 9-inch version. You'll send them the design, all the specifications, and they'll come back with you. And I'm totally guessing here, but I would say maybe because they're charging $40 for this, maybe they want 200, you know, or $230, something like that for a 9-inch version. Then you'd obviously have to give them half down. And then once they make the knife, you pay the rest, the other 50%, and then they'll send it out to you. So it's pretty cool. They do offer the custom knife option. You may have a really cool design in mind. Maybe you've been wanting to get a custom knife made for a long time now, but you know, depending on what makers you ask, either you have to wait a long time to do it, or it's going to be extremely expensive. This may be a really good option for a lot of you people out there who have these cool knife designs, but you don't want to spend, you know, way too much money trying to get it made. So see what their options are. I don't think they have any other steel. All their knives have this exact same non-stainless Damascus steel, the 256 layer. So because that's the only thing they use, my safe assumption is that that's the only steel they have available to them at the moment. But I may be wrong. You can, like I said, you can always contact them. If you want a quote for a knife, their email is, you just go to quote@etlknife.com. And then if you have questions for them, you can go to support@etlknife.com. So they're very nice. I did contact them. I wanted to contact them to ask about the handle material on this one because I had forgot about it. Anyway, I really like these knives. I think they're really cool. It's very neat for a very affordable price for what you're getting. I probably will show you in the future, once I spray these, what these come out to be. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I have so many other things to start carrying and using. But I really like these, and I might actually go and carry this one now. But I will go back. It's just, you know, I don't have a preference specifically for a pink sheath, so I'm going to overspray it with something else. I'll probably even just spray right over these, the back of those buttons too. But anyway, the quality's there, the price is good, so it's worth checking out. If you guys do end up getting one of these, let me know in messages what you think of yours. You know, obviously if you make your own videos on YouTube, post a video, let me know. I'll put, anyone who has these knives, I'll put the link to their videos in the description box of this video. So just shoot me a message and let me know about it, and I'll certainly do so people can see what you think about these as well. You know, knowledge is power. Don't always go by one person's review. You know, get many reviews, many opinions, and then from there you can, you know, make your own opinion. So that's all. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you soon. Take care.